Hi there, welcome back to Apatros Review. In this episode, The Zombie King, directed by Aidan Belizaire in the year 2013. Hi there, welcome back to Apatros Review, your guide to the wild world of science fiction action horror cinema with me, your host, Mila Zipko. If you want to spell my name, just look at the channel name. Now, in this episode, this is actually my 100th review, for this year. Can you believe that? 100 reviews. Next episode, I'll do the D Spectrum 10. Now this film, The Zombie King, is a 2013 British zombie comedy. And Shaun of the Dead, it's not. This film was also known as King of the Dead, and its original title during the production was Ed Wallace and the Z Team, or Ed Wallace and the Z Team if you're American. Now this film it's a British production. It premiered on Germany on DVD on the 26th of April 2013. And then it came out in Japan on the 31st of May 2013. In Australia and New Zealand on the August of 2014, and in the US it had its DVD premiere on the 16th of July 2016. Now the film was directed by Aidan Belizaire. It was written by Rebecca Claire Evans, Jennifer Jones, and George McCluskey, who all did the acting roles in it as well. I should point out about this DVD, this is an Australian DVD from Vendetta Films, and it's got a 239 wide aspect ratio, off of the credits are in 185 for some reason, but the DVD cover says 177, which is wrong. It's got English 5.1, no subtitles, runs for 92 minutes, and only has 2 preview trailers on it for as a supplement. There's the cover again. It stars Edward Furlong, who is John Connor from Terminator 2, and Corey Feldman in their roles. Minor roles, but anyway. Now, if you're expecting to go into buying that DVD, expecting to find a serious zombie film like many of the B-grade zombie films of the 2000s and 2010s, or a zombie comedy along the lines of Shaun of the Dead, which was an undisputed masterpiece of its type, then forget it. The Zombie King is just a rather middling low-budget routine zombie comedy that was made by director Aidan Belizaire, who has only made one feature film, this one, and only other things he's done is a number of short films both before and after that. In an attempt to save the life of his dying wife, Samuel Peters, played by Edward Furlong, makes a deal with Kalfu, played by Corey Feldman, the voodoo god of malevolence, to raise an army of the dead, which take over a small English town. The British army seal off the town to prevent any zombies from breaching the town limits, which forces them to shoot anybody who leaves the town, human and zombie. A few survivors, led by the town postman, and includes a milkman, a parking ranger, a baker, and the local priest, not mentioning a couple of chicks, who seem to have an open mind on the origin of the zombies, attempt to find a way to escape the undead, which leads them in direct conflict with Kalfu. The Zombie King, or its alternate title King of the Dead, whichever you prefer, is certainly an amusing film if you're in the mood for a modest zombie comedy. The dialogue is well written on that front, and the best parts are when the actors recite their past history with just the right tone of sarcastic irony. They intentionally pump up their stories with the idea of taking the piss out of the situation to let off some steam. But the story has too many holes in it, and the constant use of flashbacks does rob the film of a lot of momentum, not to mention the lack of scope given to what it could have been a decent story. That being said, this isn't exactly a bad film. Instead, it's a reasonable attempt at a low-budget zombie comedy that will be acceptable to zombie fans who want this as a background time waster, or a rainy afternoon choice, or the second feature on a zombie triple night bill. Unlike what some people say, the acting here is decent for the budget, and the zombie makeup, which has been somewhat unfairly maligned, is actually along the lines of the original Night of the Living Dead, with the pale faces, sunken eyes. A fair bit like that. Pretty decent to see that. The Zombie King earns a C, 4 out of 10. It's just an average film at best, but for fans of low-budget horror films, this is one of the better ones of its type from the 2010s, a time when the zombie genre was slowing down quite a bit. Now for gore nudity, very little gore since this was meant to be played for laughs, and any serious attempt at gore robbed the film of its capacity for taking the piss. The only nudity is one brief scene where the survivors find a wank room, a private chef masturbating, with nude pictures plastered on the walls, breasts only visible with pubic bushes covered by various stickers. I should point out that in the film, the postman claims makes his postal job sound like the SAS, and basically says how he gets attacked by kids throwing turd attacks, basically water bombs filled with shit. I never knew that British kids could actually stuff shit in water balloons and toss them at the postman. Bastards. Anyway, as for the DVD, this is released on Australian DVD by Vendetta Films, a mid-tier label that specializes in B-budget independent and in some cases foreign genre releases, usually horror. The picture is listed as 177, but it's actually 239, with only the end credits being 185 for some reason. In another mysterious inconsistency, the IMDb lists runtime as 85 minutes. On my copy, which is in PowerFast having a 4% speed up, is 93 minutes long. That doesn't make any sense. Which means that the IMDb is stuffed up against technical listings. Well, either that or the IMDb's runtime could have been an incomplete version. The picture looks swell, with a slight desaturation of the color to make things look grim, and the English 5.1 soundtrack is excellent. There are no subtitles, and the only supplement consists of a couple of preview trailers for the horror mystery The Tall Man and the asylum mockbuster Atlantic Rim. By the way, Vendetta Films actually does a lot of Australian releases of asylum films. Before that was Peacock, which is a rental label that doing asylum films. And after that, Flashback, and then all the current asylum films basically released by Vendetta. Now, Vendetta also does a few foreign films too, like a box set of the Wreck series. I'll cover that in the future. So that's Zombie King. And by the way, for parents, it's rated M, which is like the Australian version, American PG-13. In American terms, it'll be like a PG-15. For horror themes, sexual references, violence, coarse language. There's quite a bit of dirty humor in this as well. Okay, that's it for that episode. Now, I do not do requests, but if you have any questions about DVDs or if you want to know about certain films, just hit me up in the comment section, I'll answer. Hope you guys are staying safe. The lockdown is fairly close to ending with the vaccine targets. But if you're unvaccinated, you're going to be in for some trouble. Okay, enjoy yourselves, take it easy, relax, and see ya.